a non-profit grassroots, and when I say grassroots, that means we don't get no grants, honey. I put my boots on the ground and I tell y'all, give me money, and y'all do, because y'all know that I take care of my community. Well, not y'all, mostly white people. Y'all need to start giving more and more to PSPNY. But anyway, I am CEO of Parents Supporting Parents New York, a non-profit organization unapologetically for black parents. We do everything under the sun for our parents. I am the lead admin of Moms United for Black Lives Matter. I have 1,800 moms that follow my black leadership, and most of them are white. They help me raise money to buy laptops for black and brown children. I have given over 240 children, black and brown, unapologetically. Some of them are Asian and black, Indian. I consider them all my babies. We have given out more than $150,000 in technology because we understand that the children are our future. We also understand that the next 2 generations are black. Dominantly, majority in this country, the next 2 generations are black. So if you are not in some way, somehow, doing something for the youth of your community, you are not about Black Lives Matter. And not only do I talk about it, I'll be about it. My youth advocates, my PSPNY youth advocates, come up here and stand beside me right now. Youth advocates, come to the front. I talk different. I speak different. The work is different. But the work that I do is the pathway to black liberation. Because I use the blueprint of our elders who are still here. Some, and some that have become ancestors with the rest of our ancestors. I took the idea of the Black Panther Party. Mom Gina is here. Everybody give it up for my mom Gina. Gina, I told you we wasn't going nowhere without you, baby. When I say that we got the Rainbow Coalition over here, I mean it from my heart. We took the idea of the breakfast program from the Black Panthers and great Chair Fred Hampton and put my own personal spin, Tanisha Grant, on it, and now it's the Laptop Initiative. Helping all families. Not only are we giving these babies technology that the Department of Education has never even dreamed of giving our babies, because they don't think black and brown children are worth it. They erase our babies' culture as soon as they enter the school system from pre-K. They try to tell our babies that they are inferior, and white children and white people are superior and did everything. Not on my watch. There's a difference between being schooled and educated, and I'm educated. And it ain't come from no school. I stand here before you with a whole GED. And got a very high score. Because I'm good at learning whiteness. That's why I know how to dismantle it. So in doing the work for the children, I know how to do the work for the adults. I know how to get out here and say Black Lives Matter for my soul and mean it. I know how to reach out to a family whose family member has been murdered simply because they black. Let me tell you something, I got one black son. And because he is educated, because he sees his mama out here fighting every day, he knows he's not safe in the street, so he doesn't come outside. How sad is that? that my 14-year-old boy knows that it's dangerous for him to be black. But it would be more dangerous if he didn't have the information, if he didn't know to watch his six. And that's what we're trying to change. And I say trying because I see a lot of performative shit out here. And I'm tired of it. And don't come stand next to me if you're a performer and you do it for the likes and you do it for the photo op. Let me tell you, be very careful of these people that come to you and say we want to feature you in our magazine. We want to do an ad about you. Because let me tell you something. They about our black dollar. And they know in some capacity they have to say Black Lives Matter to keep getting them black dollars. But understand, they don't give a fuck about us.
They gotta go.
We, Mom, have a partnership with HP Corporate. I talked to a man that runs a $38 billion company. I don't have to put that on social media. He found me because of the work that I do on the ground. But he's not using me. He knows that me raising thousands of dollars to give black children their own computers make HP look good. So he's going to give me as many computers and printers as I want. That's power! Woo! To make sure that our babies get what we don't have. Black liberation. To make sure. Victor, come up here. I want y'all to understand that this memorial, George Floyd, and justice for all black lives today will be centered around the families right here in our city that are still trying to get accountability for their loved ones. Now, I'm not going to have Victor speak yet because we're going to go to the place where our loved one was taken from us. There's a lot of things people don't know about me and why I'm so passionate and why I go so hard and why I'm unbending. This man is one of them reasons. Because his brother, Delroy Small, was my brother. Not by blood, but by knowing him, having my life, by being in some of the same group homes he was in. That's where we come from, the church. And both of us watched countlessly as his police officer, Isaac Wayne, murdered our loved one. Countless times to hear a jury say not guilty. And he is still in the force. This is the heart of the movement. This is the heart of Black Lives Matter. This is the heart of defund the police. And I'm going to let you sit with that, and we're going to start. Bikers and marshals, please come to the front. Y'all will hear from Victor very soon. Everybody give it up. Antoine, I need you to the front. Kimmy. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Please understand, whether it's 1,000 or 10 of us, these are our streets. If you ever see a march that has Moms United logo or PSP and Y logo, These are our fucking streets. And with anybody that we have here today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to show our power that we can change some shit. Woo! And then we're going to ask ourselves, why aren't more people here? We waited for the bikers to come up, but my activist husband slash brother, Rob Cuffy, wants to say a few words. Give it up for Rob. And I need energy from y'all today. Woo! I need energy from y'all today. We fighting so that people don't keep killing us because we black, because we young, and we gifted. If you ain't never heard that song by Nina Simone, you should listen to it. Because everything in your life that you touch, make sure you know that a black person's hands was on it. Understand that. America could not be what it is without the free talent and the forced talent of African slaves, enslaved people of this country. My ancestors built this country and I will never let you forget it.
Black lives
matter!
Black lives
matter!
Black women matter! Black women
matter!
Black babies
matter!
Black babies
matter!
Black trans
matter!
Black trans
matter!
Black queers
matter!
Black immigrants
matter!
Black immigrants
matter!
Oh, y'all welcome to East New York. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. And I'm being told to remind y'all that when we say black immigrants matter, 40% of the people in ICE custody are black Haitians, right? So immigration is a racial justice issue. Is that right? Yeah. So we're standing in the corner of Atlantic in Pennsylvania, and Vic is going to tell you about the unsignificant. I just want to tell y'all, welcome to my hood. When you see me in Manhattan, this is where I'm coming from. In fact, I'm coming all the way from the Cypress Hills, 4 blocks away from Queens, right? But this is the significance of Community District 5, one of the poorest districts in the city. This is where people come to when they're displaced from Bed-Stuy, when people are displaced from Crown Heights. When gentrification hits, people come here because housing the last resort. We have to deal with the 75th precinct, which viciously beats people down on a daily basis. So, you know, we start off these protests with acknowledgement of the land we're on. We're here on the land of the Lenape people, the indigenous people of New York, before they're displaced. Well, before the black people are displaced, let's acknowledge that we're in a fucking black neighborhood and it needs to stay that way.
Yes!
That tower being built over in the corner of Fulton in Pennsylvania is the gateway to gentrification. They want to turn Broadway Junction into the gateway for gentrification. Right now, if you go to Broadway Junction, it's filled with trash. There's nothing around there but a bus and a train depot, one sad restaurant, or 2 sad restaurants. It's not a place you want to be. But when the white people start moving in, they're going to change it. It's going to become a transportation hub. It's going to become a shopping mall. Well, the black people who live here right now, we have a message. We want East New York to be a place that we can fucking live in. We're not here to die in East New York. We're here to fucking live, all right? So for whoever's running for mayor, to that dude who's real friendly with the cops, to the one who wants to give us $200 each,
Exactly that one.
please know East New York will be a problem for you.
Yeah.
Now we out here in this weather, please. We understand. We're out here in January, right? We're doing the anti-fascist march. We're out here in February marching for Malcolm X. We're out here in March marching for Breonna Taylor. We're not going to let a little rain stop us. So I'm going to make y'all endure a little bit of my singing. In the right spirit. You know, I can't sing as well as the people of Stonewall, but I figured y'all would help me, right? And we're going to do a remix. You know the chant that goes in the hottest days, the coldest nights. We're in the streets, fighting for black lives and shit. On the rainiest days, And the coldest night.
And the coldest night.
We are in these streets.
We are in these streets.
Fighting for black lives.
Fighting for black lives.
Fighting for black lives.
Fighting for black lives.
If anyone is walking by and confused about what the fuck is going on in this protest, tell them real quick. Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go.
People wanna know.
People wanna know
Who we are.
who we are.
So we tell them.
So we tell them
Black lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go.
People wanna know.
People wanna know
Who we are.
who we are.
So we tell them.
So we tell them
We are the people.
we are the people.
The mighty fucking people.
The mighty fucking people.
Fighting for justice.
We're fighting for justice
And black liberation.
and black liberation
And trans liberation.
and trans liberation
And queer liberation.
and queer liberation.
Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go,
People wanna know.
people wanna know
Who we are.
who we are.
So we tell them.
So we tell them
Black lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Welcome to East New York. Tanisha.
The bike, what you call it? Bike march. The bike marcher. So don't tell them what we're gonna do. One of y'all explain. We keep us safe and healthy.
They already en route to get
Okay.
All right, so we're getting ready to march. We need the banner to the front and back of the bikers. Banner to the front, and back of the bikers. Whole street?
Wall Street.
Whole street?
All streets.
Whole street?
All streets.
So hold on, what's the bike? The bikers got something to say. Hold on. Hello? Whole street?
All streets.
Whole street?
All streets.
Okay, guys, so we go to bikers.
How old is that?
And please don't touch the end. Please don't touch the end. First, make sure you're in front of the car and behind the bike. Okay? Then we stay let's stay behind the bike. Okay? And the bike that is going to be in front of us for the rocket. So the bike is going to be blocked. And we have two cars together so nobody can block us. Okay? Who keep us safe? We
keep us safe.
Keep us safe.
We keep us safe.
Keep us safe.
We keep us safe.
So we have two cars here. We have somebody who has snacks and water. Anybody wants anything? Got Elizabeth, right? Elizabeth?
I'm Allie.
Yeah. So the bikers are going to block right now, and we're going to follow them. Okay, guys? You can't stop the revolution.
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 Hey y'all, it's Wayne Hawkins. Y'all know who I am. But Tanisha Gray, and I'll be one of your main chant leaders today, and I need y'all to be loud. So I'm say it again. You can't stop the revolution.
Yeah, we out here in Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
You can't stop the
We're gonna be marching to the precinct.
revolution. You can't stop the revolution.
You can't stop the revolution.
You can't stop the revolution.
Justice. Now. Justice. Now. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Justice. Now. Justice. Now. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Once this light, well, and then once this light just went by, so now we are currently moving by.
Let's go, let's go.
Our streets.
Our
Streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets.
Stay to the right.
Our
Stay to the
streets.
right.
Stay to the right. Stay to the right. The right lane, guys.
Our streets. Our streets. Our streets.
Thank you.
Our streets. 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 Justice. Now. Justice. Now. Shut it down. 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 Justice. Now. Justice. Now. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Everywhere we go, people wanna know who we are. So we tell them, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Everywhere we go, people wanna know who we are. So we tell them, Black Lives Matter. Just Floyd matter. Devon matter. Devon matters. Floyd. George Floyd. George Floyd. George Floyd. Darren Small. 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 Justice. Now. Justice. Now. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Justice. Now. Justice. Now. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Can't stop the revolution. You 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 can't stop the revolution. Shut it down. That one Smalls.
Say his name.
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 That one Smalls.
Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go,
People wanna know.
people wanna know
Who we are.
who we are.
So we tell them.
So we tell them
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Damn right matter.
Damn lives matter.
George Floyd matter.
George Floyd matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go,
People wanna know.
people wanna know
Who we are.
who we are.
So we tell them.
So we tell them
There are matters.
there are matters.
There are matters.
There are matters.
We are at our first stop. Like I said, whether it's 10 of us or 1,000 of us, these are our streets. Turn around and look behind you. We control shit until we say we don't. We'll give them the streets back when we ready. We here to honor and to remember everyone that has been brutally murdered by the pigs that you see behind you.
Fuck those pigs.
Where we are standing is where Delron Small took his last breath. He wasn't even thinking about this man. He was just walking across the street. But I'm not going to speak on it too much, because I'm going to let his brother, and when I call him up here, I want y'all to show him all the love. This is the work. Surrounding the people who have to go to bed every night and wake up every morning without their loved one because a murderous pig thought it was okay to take their lives. So you can put your hands together and wish as many blessings as you can muster up for my brother, the brother, a murdered victim, Delron Small. Victor is coming to the stage. Let me hear y'all.
I want to point a few things out real quick. Well, I'm standing exactly where I'm standing when my brother took his last breath. Our family owned that business right next door for over 17 years. It's a barbershop. I bring that up because I don't take Atlantic Avenue anymore. I currently live in Queens. My nephew, my brother's son, his kids live right up the block. We purposely avoid Atlantic Avenue because of the anguish and agony it causes just visualizing the spot where our loved one bled out. But I also want to bring something else to your attention. My brother was murdered July 4th, 2016. The day after Philando Castillo was murdered. I mean, not Philando Castillo, Quentin Sterling was murdered. The day. Then Philando Castillo was murdered. Then there was 8 officers in Houston, Texas that was murdered. It took them 7 days for them to listen to the family after Wayne Isaacs lied and said my brother repeatedly hit him. 7 days before a video finished establishment surfaced that showed that officer completely lied. My brother did not repeatedly punch him. My brother didn't punch him. There's a video that shows it. As I was walking down in front of everybody, and I'm hearing everybody scream his name. And I think about last year, just last year, after George Floyd was murdered, we all watched it. After my Arbery was murdered, we all watched it. We had to tell it, we all knew. And to see, like T said, I don't care if it's 20, 150, 1,000. To see people in this community standing right now when my brother took his last breath that care, that shit means more than anything. Right. Because families don't get the support that they need. I'm not the only one out here today. But it means a lot to know those statistics. It means a lot to realize what we're fighting for. I'm never going to get my brother back. His daughters will never get to say daddy again. He will never teach his son how to play football again. But I come out here so everybody that's standing with us don't get the same damn phone call I got. I come out here so his kids are not standing in the same position that I am 20 years from now, fighting and screaming for the same thing. So when we speak about defund NYPD, when we speak about centering the voices around the families impacted, what the fuck does that mean? It means we gotta protect ourselves. It means we gotta stand up for ourselves. It means we gotta come out in the rain, in the snow, in the heat, in the sleet, and stand up for our fucking selves. Because they not gonna do it. It's been 5 years since my brother was murdered. Since then, Wayne Isaacs was charged for murdering my brother. Since then, like T said earlier, we sat through the damn trial, looking at all my family's eyes water as they said not guilty.
All right.
Then moving forward, standing and fighting day in and day out to get a murderous officer fired off the fucking force that supposedly protects us. How can I come through this Atlantic Avenue? How can I hang out here and hold the visual here where he was murdered, where the people that say they're supposed to protect us can't even be accountable to them fucking selves? So I'm here for accountability. I'm never getting justice. Bring my brother back. Let him sit next to me at Thanksgiving dinner. Do that for me. But I know that ain't gonna happen. But let's backtrack a little bit now. I'm Victor Dempsey, the brother of Darron Small. Co-founder of Families United, co-founder of Families Are the Front Line, national organization that works with families across the nation that's been impacted in the same way my family has. Listen, thank you, T. I don't need a round of applause for that, right? This is what I want to explain. Hold up, T. This is what I want to explain to people. Before my brother was murdered, I was a fucking chef. I cooked for a living. I loved cooking for a living. When my brother was murdered, I was forced into a role of an advocate, into an activist, into a community liaison, whatever the fuck y'all want to call it. But I'm pointing that out to you because unfortunately I waited until it came to my fucking doorstep to do something. I'm the same man that watched on the news the day they reported Eric Garner was murdered. I was getting ready for work. I put my damn clothes on and I said, damn, they killed another black man. Guess what I did? Took my ass to work. I didn't call her Tanisha Grant. I didn't call her. I didn't call her advocate to say how can I get involved in the fight. I just said they killed another black man and went on about my day. July 4th, 2016, all of that changed for me. I said nobody's gonna fight for my brother the way I'm gonna fight for my brother. I said nobody's gonna fight for my community the way I'm gonna fight for my community. I said nobody's gonna stop the killing if we don't come together as a community to stop the fucking killing. Because it hasn't been stopping. We get together, we say we gotta sign petitions, and I'm telling y'all, like T said, these corporate companies, they're getting the attention of the people on the ground that's saying there's something wrong. And we're not just saying it, we're showing it to them. We're showing that 5 years later, we have to come out here, take our fucking streets back, and say it was a goddamn injustice being done. That it has to be addressed. But the only way it's going to get addressed is if we keep doing it. The only way it's going to get addressed is if we get the recognition from the peoples in power, or unless we put ourselves in power. And this is the power right here. This is the power. We're bringing all of the smoke to Mayor de Blasio. All of the smoke. Because at the end of the day, he can sit here and fucking tweet and act like he didn't watch the video of my brother being murdered when you got all the power in the world to fire this goddamn cop. We're asking de Blasio to get out of the way, let the disciplinary hearing take its own course. What that means, because right now, my family is fighting right now, tooth and nail, after CCRB substantiated charges to say Wayne Isaacs murdered our brother unjustly and he does not belong on the force. So why would the fucking mayor, who's supposed to be protecting a city, get in the way of that? You tell me.
He protects himself.
He protects himself. So who's protecting us?
We are.
There you go. I'm sorry, this. I'm not going to take up a lot of time because, like I said, it's not just me. There's other families who suffered the same injustice as my family has. And we're marching through these stops where these injustices occurred in our neighborhoods. My man said, welcome to East New York. Guess what? I grew up 5 minutes from here, held between Arlington and Ridgewood. This is my hood. I ran through Highland Park regularly. I went to IO Steel 2 down the block. I went to PS 82. I did this. This is our hood. Why the fuck am I doing a memorial for a hood that my brother grew up in? Where we raised kids at out here. Where we took kids to Pop Warner. We did this out here. We owned that barber up there for 17 years before our family said we can't do it no more. But we let somebody else who does not live here come take a life from here and not be held accountable. I didn't hear not one horn hop yet. Because they know what time it is. This is our streets and we'll give it back when we fucking feel like it. Because the people who's supposed to be protecting it, they ain't doing a damn good job. I ain't got no more to say, man. I'm just trying to fight. So the folks who's out here today, don't let this be your only time. I'm telling you, please. I was that same man that watched Eric Garner's news report come out of the news and I took my ass to fucking work. When is enough gonna be enough? What else do we have to do? I'm not asking you. These are questions I ask myself as I'm fighting. I just told y'all people I work with families across the nation. There's people here who know that to be true. There's people here who can't even get me on the damn phone because I'm so busy listening to other trauma, listening to other injustices, not just here, everywhere. But how can we scream? And I'm gonna scream it. I'm gonna scream justice for George Floyd. I'm gonna scream justice for all of these loved ones and family members that I work with every single day. But what I'm asking is the New Yorkers, the folks who are here, the folks who make these elections, the folks who put these people in office, look down the block from where you live and tell me what the fuck is going on and what we can do to help you help your community. That's what we need to be doing. Everybody here, we have a petition going around that's going to the mayor to have accountability to the officer who murdered my brother. That's what I asked for today. Please check in before this march is over, sign a petition, submit it, because that's all we need right now. Everything else we trying, man. We trying. But this is what's making me happy. This is what's keeping me standing right the fuck now. Seeing y'all faces, hearing the attentiveness, and knowing that somebody's gonna do something today. We can't wait till tomorrow. I thought tomorrow I'll be seeing my brother. I thought tomorrow I'll be taking him and all of us out to eat. I thought that. I thought after July 4th I'll be with him the next day drinking Hennessy. That didn't happen. Tomorrow is not promised, so change what you can today.
Come on!
That's
Bro, I'm sorry you were supposed to speak last, but you know me, I'm sorry. I needed you to center us. I needed you to center us. This is the work. This is the heart of the work. This is what I'm screaming to my grassroots community. This is what I'm screaming to all of these black women organizers out in the street, because none of y'all come before me. I am the experience. I ain't been doing this since last May. I've been doing it since they murdered my friend, my brother from another mother. Because this is my brother. T.S. Candy, that's my sister. You best believe when you see them, you see me. You got a problem with them, know that you got a problem with me. This is what community looks like. You see who was standing next to Victor when he made them? When he said what he needed to say? Are two youth activists. Our babies. We gotta lead the way for our babies. We can no longer miseducate our people. It's not about waiting to see what name is gonna come out today so we can plan a march. I'll say it a fucking again. It's not about waiting to see who's murdered today so we can plan a fucking march. I am a beautiful black queen in these Converse, these jeans, and my own logo hoodie. This is not a performance, Rob. And I'm big enough to say it, because who gonna check me? Who gonna tell me I'm wrong? You just heard what I have been saying. And anybody who knows me out here will tell you that the words that just came out of my brother's mouth, I have been advocating in these spaces for the last months, Victor. I have been saying, how can you run around thousands of people in the street and not know the heart of Black Lives Matter? This man standing right here is the heart. This place that we stand in is very special, because this is the place where our brother went back to the ancestors, where his spirit left this world. And it is our job and our duty to make sure that you remember his motherfucking name. And not just his. Do your research. Every day, try to learn about somebody that was murdered by the police. Because let me tell you, for every day of the week and every day of the year, you will find a black person that has been murdered, sanctioned murdered by this country. Who else can you say that about? Nothing about black pain. I see everyone running to support other people's oppression. Where are they? Who's standing with us? We stand with everyone. Who's standing with us? You see how many people are here today? Take that home with you. Because this is what the families are screaming. It's performative to them. They don't give a fuck. They will take us over that every fucking day of the week. And that is not how we win. We win united. We win with the common goal of defunding the police and getting accountability for every black and brown family whose children have to go out with their daddies, their mamas, black mothers and fathers who had to bury their children, like Mama Rice. I don't call her simply so Miss Samira or Miss Rice. That's Mama Rice to me. I take direction from her. So when she says you are making money and you are being performative,
Mallory. Fuck Al Sharpton. I said it. You will never see them in the streets with us. You will never see them on the ground with us. You will see them on TV. You will see me on TV because they're taping me being in the street. I say that. I bring up Tamika Mallory and Al Sharpton because that's where it lives. It leads. If you performative in the street, honey, you already know you're going to be performative in the media. They do not speak for us. People like me, Tanisha Grant, I speak for us. And I'm showing you I speak for us. I'm showing you that I have the connections. So when you see me get out here and cry, and you see me be passionate, understand it's because I know and I feel what we are fighting for, and I'm ready to die for it. Because I got generations after me, baby. And I'm building generations of liberators. Generations of liberators who don't wait until it happens to them. Who knows that they have to get out here and fight because it could have been them. Now I'm going to bring to the stage another young man. And I'm going to let him tell his story. Stop listening to the media tell our story. We know how to speak very well, and we can tell our stories ourselves. They are our lived experiences. You want to hear what's happening? Get in touch with people like me, like Rob, like Gary, like Candy, like Sammy, that are on the ground with these people, and we know what the fuck is happening. Now you go to some of these rest of these marches and you see if they got their boots to the ground like we do. This is where everyone should be today. How many marches you been to centered the family? How many marches you been to and they yell Black Lives Matter and nobody there was from them families that they talking about? But how many people were there? Performative! And if you know anything about me, you know I'm a truth teller, and I ain't never gonna lie to none of y'all. Because don't none of y'all pay my bills, and at the end of the day, I have to answer to my ancestors. And everything you hear out my mouth comes from my ancestors. Yes! And this is not what they want. So with that being said, let me bring the next brother to the stage. Because wherever the fuck we are, it's our motherfucking stage. We're going to bring the next brother to the stage who was his uncle and is a warrior out here and has been out here for years. And all of you should know his name because he has fought every day since his uncle was murdered. So when I say his name, y'all already know what I need y'all to do. Welcome Joshua to the stage.
Thank you, Tanisha. My name is Joshua Lopez. I had lost my uncle, John Collado, nearly 10 years ago. This September will be 10 years. My uncle, he went to the store to buy some ingredients for lasagna. He was looking for his tablet. And as he going to the store, he witnessed what he thought was a fight breaking out in the street next to his building. As my uncle approached, he tried to break up the fight, and one of the men involved in the fight was an undercover police officer who never identified himself. He pulled out his gun and shot my uncle dead, and responding officers came to the scene, and instead of helping my uncle, giving him aid, they started kicking him, and my uncle's wife, she took the case to a civil court to find out what really happened because the police and the media were lying about what happened to my uncle the day he was murdered. They were saying that my uncle was a professional wrestler, choking a cop. And in the civil court, we found out evidence. We found out video evidence, just like in Delron Small's case. That my uncle never put his hands on this officer, never choked the officer like the officer said. And his name was James Connolly, the one that killed my uncle. And 4 years later, we come to find out that this officer had also murdered an 18-year-old. And 5 years on the fourth, he had 2 murders already. On Tuesday for George Floyd's anniversary, the media asked me, like, if the police officer that murdered George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, if he was found guilty, why are we still in the streets and protesting? But guess what? After George Floyd's murder, police still haven't stopped killing black and brown people. There's been over 900 murders since George Floyd's murder, and police are still not being held accountable. And when we speak about defunding the police, we need to put this money back in our community for school, after-school programs, drug programs. We need to help our community. We don't need to have cops terrorizing our community. And for the past 10 years, I've gone to so many different states in solidarity with so many different families, heard so many different stories, and I come to the reality that I'm not gonna, me and my family are not gonna receive any justice for our loved one, my uncle. But that doesn't stop me from being in the streets fighting and trying to prevent this from happening to other families.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's peace.
And I thank you guys for being out here supporting us, because I know with this weather, you could have been home, you could have been anywhere else. And I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your energy. Because you know what? Our fight is in the streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Oh man, I should have got a paper agenda because I'm live. Rob, what are we doing? Is that our last speaker here? Okay, so that's our last speaker here.
Right.
That's Steve, my husband / brother. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do what I do without them. I hope that you take this back to marches, and yeah, I'm big enough to say it, like Stonewall.
Yes.
Take this back. When you marching at Stonewall, remember this. And think about if you've ever seen this there. And I have nothing but love for them sisters. But the truth is the fucking truth. This is the work. I don't care how many people are in the street. If we're not taking it back to our community, and if we ain't somehow coming in community in these marches, and if we ain't learning how we can be better at winning black liberation for everyone, then we ain't doing the work. And if I can stand here next to my transgender sister, because the only reason why I'm saying transgender sister is because we out in the streets. Because when we live our everyday lives, she is my sister. When you see her, you see me. She is T.S. Candy. She is the reason why the walking while trans ban was expunged. So Stonewall, because I know it's going to find them, and I wanted to. Remember, when you talk about that law being expunged, that you say T.S. Candy, because anything else is disrespectful, and I can't believe shit you say because you won't give my sister her flowers. So that you were able to do the things that you do. We always must honor the people that came before us, whose shoulders we stand on, so we can also then come into our own. But when we start disrespecting that, I have a problem with that. When we start having marches and we standing outside of Audubon Hall and I watch 3 people speak before we talk about we are at the place where Malcolm X lost his life, fighting
fighting for black lives is a problem. And this was months ago. So let me tell you something. I sit back and I observe. And I watch what everyone is doing. We heard Trayvon Martin screaming for somebody to help him. We seen Mike Brown laying in the street for hours. Were they not horrible? So, I'm putting you on notice. If you performative out in these streets, I'm calling you out. I don't give a fuck about social media. I care about black liberation. And I'm gonna do that work every day to make sure we get black liberation. Whether it's giving kids laptops, fighting the school system, signing on to laws, being in these elected official spaces. Danny will tell you, I'm everywhere. Everybody always asks me, how do you have the energy? Because I am my ancestors' child. And when you say that you aren't, you're being disrespectful. So if anyone wants a snack, we have a snack stop. Y'all go ahead before we move on and get something, because that's also something we do. If you go to marches and they ain't feeding the people and making sure you hydrated, you don't want to be there, because the organizers don't give a fuck about you. We care about the people who come out here and stand with us. And we try in every way we can to show that we care. If you ain't at these type of marches, you are not doing the work. You are just a body that's there for the media and for pictures. But we don't live on Instagram.
Thank you. No, I'm good. Thank you.
We don't live there. We live in the real world with Victor and Joshua. Body and your dollars into black liberation. So if anybody has $10 to donate to Venmo, to the People's Bodega, please do so. Because they sustain us. And when we call, they come out. And if you ain't at marches that do that, you need to have a talk with yourself. Working group, Fight for Our Lives Coalition, Moms United for Black Lives Matter,
Okay,
Riders for Black
Lives,
Lives,
Peace.
the Black